Hi, hello. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our presentation. E-learning during pandemic era should not be barrier towards achieving academic excellence in Malaysia. Before we begin, I would like to extend my gratitude to our beloved Madam Adura for helping us to complete this essay. Now, let's meet our team. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nick Daniel Iskandar, and these are my partners, Abdi Fattah and Daniel Asfar. In the late 1980s and then 1990s, the first form of computer-based electronic CBT was born in the form of CD-ROM. So what is CBT contribution? Well, it's actually the computer is acting as an instructor by showing interactive lesson and provide some question and answers to students. Previously, it was known as distance learning. Now the terms of online learning has gained more recognition to every higher education institution. In the year 2019, a new type of virus named COVID-19 suddenly emerged and spread around the globe. This highly infectious disease has led the World Health Organization, WHO, to declare it as pandemic and force every nation to close down their social sectors and place restrictions in their local communities. In response to the COVID-19 outbreak, the Malaysian government has promulgated the Movement Control Order, which is MCO, put the education sector to a halt on 18 March of 2020. Consequently, every educational institution, especially in higher institutions, were taking drastic measures to continue their learning process by adopting online-based education. Both educators and students were faced with multiple challenges with teaching and learning in online-based education or e-learning. Despite learning in an online class, students can achieve academic excellence during the pandemic era through maintaining well-being while preventing the spread of the virus, pursuing quality education, and potentially replacing the traditional learning.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Ismail Abdi Fattah Muhammad, so I will be continuing to the main area 1. So the main area 1 is e-learning promotes human well-being and prevents the spread of COVID-19. So how e-learning promotes human well-being and also prevents the spread of COVID-19? As we all aware, the pandemic poses a significant threat to humanity and hampering the learning process. So e-learning has become more relevant than ever in order to make sure the learning process to be continued as well as to prevent the spread of the virus and to promote the human well-being. Majority of educational institutions in Malaysia is slowly migrated from traditional face-to-face classes to an e-learning system. The shift towards e-learning is aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals SDG 3. They aim to introduce good health and to promote the well-being for all ages. Although several groups in the general public doubt the effectiveness of this system, it is important to note that the migration has to be done in order to ensure the well-being of both educators and students also, as well as to mitigate the spread of the virus. Therefore, there is no doubt that the e-learning has become essential to institutional sectors in order to protect both educators and students from potential health risks. So that's why e-learning promotes human well-being.
Hi, my name is Daniel Asfar, as mentioned before by my partner Nick Daniel. And now I will continue the presentation with our second main idea, which is improving the quality of education. As mentioned by Nick before, the pandemic has compelled the educational institution in Malaysia to slowly migrate towards e-learning. However, there are several issues that make the general public doubt these new methods. Some of the main issues includes the limited e-learning infrastructure, subpar bandwidth issue, digital divide among social classes, and also poor computer literacy, especially in rural areas. In some sense, their uncertainty was somewhat unsurprising, as there is still a lack of awareness amongst the population of the potential of e-learning, especially to the older generations, as this method was somewhat unconventional to them. However, the benefits and potential of e-learning have far outweighed the aforementioned issues, which I will explain in the next slide. First of all, the most obvious benefits of e-learning was its flexibility and accessibility. In contrast to the traditional face-to-face class session, now students are able to record the lecture and revisit the recorded session for revision in their own free time. For some students, the option to revisit and revise in their own free time anywhere and anytime can give them a sense of relief, especially during these challenging times. And next, the introduction of e-learning will surely increase the level of computer literacy in Malaysia, especially among the older generation educators and students, as they will have to force themselves to learn and adapt to these new learning methods. As for the newer generations, this learning method will give them ample experience with technology and may even broaden their view of the future. All in all, both generations will benefit the Malaysian educational system. Now, you might think that the benefits can resolve the issues with the digital divide and the poor computer literacy. But what about the other two? Okay, concerning the limited e-learning infrastructure and the poor bandwidth issue, these issues can be resolved by the Malaysian government. As of now, the government has responded by providing free laptop to lower income families and joint effort with the local internet service providers such as Mobile, Celcom, Maxis in providing reliable and stable internet connection in all areas in Malaysia. And some of them may even give free internet to everyone, which is good for the students as they will help them to go into their class.
Currently, e-learning may replace traditional modes of learning. This enables students to be exposed to the technology development in the future. The core principles of the education system have not changed since then. However, it was suggested that instructors must adopt a new framework of teaching by incorporating learning styles and culture, technology, technical training, and time management challenge. It is an opportunity to innovate new knowledge and develop skills that might change the social structure for future demands. The form or structure of delivering knowledge is always centered around the teacher. On this basis, the teacher possesses a magnitude of influence and acts as a primary source of information. The traditional learning modes require students to be present in the classroom. Consequently, this reduces the availability to hold multiple participants in one session. In contrast, the online classes will be able to resolve this issue without any drawbacks. On the other hand, e-learning heavily emphasizes the process of receiving the knowledge rather than relying on the instructor. The distinct nature of e-learning is separating the social relationship with the instructor, resulting in a new digital culture. For instance, a case study was done in Malaysia by multiple distinguished universities, including the Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, Faculty of Medicine in University Technology Mara, and University Science Malaysia had applied online learning in health science faculties. By substituting the mode of education to online learning, students are satisfied with the development of online learning in their education. Therefore, numerous medical students claim that online learning has helped them in terms of time management. It is the ability to study at any given time have given them an ample chance to excel in their studies. Nonetheless, some of the students are not happy when experiencing low-speed internet, monotonous content, or complicated user interface.
Now we move to Islamic perspective. So in Islamic perspective, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ which means do not throw yourself into restriction. So COVID-19 can be said it's restriction, so you have to protect yourself as a Muslim. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, إذا سمعتم بالطاعون بأرض فلا تدخلوها وإذا وقع بأرض وأنتم بها فلا تخرجوا منها. So basically this hadith means if you are in a place where there is a pandemic, do not go out, or if you are outside of this place, do not enter to this place. So this basically is to prevent the spread of the pandemic. And there's also maqasid al-sharia in Islam, which are 5: the religion, the life, the intellect, and the lineage, and also the property. So these all 5, we can say that the COVID-19 affect all these 5. So we have to protect these maqasid al-sharia by e-learning. How we can protect the e-learning? E-learning can protect our life from pandemic, and also our intellect, which is to educate from the pandemic. We can use e-learning to educate ourselves, to protect ourselves, and also to protect our wealth, because all these 5 are affected by COVID-19. So in the protection of life and studying, which is related to intellect, the preservation and the protection of life have preference over the preservation and protection of study. That's all from my part. Thank you so much.
Hi, it's me again. And now for the conclusion. We conclude that e-learning is the best way to continue formal learning process, as this is the only way right now where students can continue their formal learning process while maintaining their well-being and prevent the spread of the virus. In essence, this provisional learning method during the pandemic comes with both pros and cons. However, it is believed that the advantages of adopting these new e-learning methods have offset its disadvantages, especially for secondary and tertiary level students. Not to mention, the integration of e-learning in Malaysian educational system will further elevate its standards by revamping the model critical elements such as flexible curriculum, lifelong learning mindset, and experiential learning. These elements will be able to develop graduates with skill sets to embrace the future gig economy. And we also conclude that this e-learning has the potential to replace the traditional learning methods in the future, or in some sense, maybe the government can make a hybrid between the traditional face-to-face class and the e-learning. And overall, we also see that this new method can pave the way for Malaysia to be a developed nation, as the advance in education is also one of the key aspects in order for any country to be a developed country. That's all from me. Thank you.